Welcome to the deep dive. We've got some interesting source material you've shared today. We're going to take a look at Andrei Koban's work.
That's right, yeah. Specifically his Puzzle Business and Career Project.
And we've got these excerpts: Andrei Koban, OPU owner, and Roots of Career and Relationship Respect.
Yep, those are the ones. And our goal really is to sort of unpack his view on building, a good career and healthy relationships.
And what really jumps out, I think, is this link he makes. It feels quite surprising between our really early family stuff, watching our parents together, and then our adult work lives.
Exactly. It's kind of the core idea coming from Open Your Heart GmbH.
Yeah.
They suggest that building that successful career, with good working relationships, it's really hard without one specific thing in place.
Okay. And it's not maybe what you'd immediately think of, not just general people skills.
Right. It's not just about being nice or communicating well, though that matters. Koban points deeper.
So where does he say this foundation actually comes from then?
Well, it does come from our relationship with our parents, yes. But the real emphasis is on how we relate to their relationship.
Yeah.
The one they had with each other.
Ah, okay. So their love, maybe their fights.
Yeah, exactly. Their feelings, their reality as a couple, which, isn't always simple or perfect.
Right. And this is where it gets pretty thought-provoking. The material seems to say that if we as kids maybe judged that relationship between them, like we didn't like their arguments, or maybe we dismissed their affection, or felt kind of, I don't know, superior to their problems.
Yeah, that's the idea. That we might sort of unknowingly set up these patterns then.
How does that work?
Well, the sources describe it like a child might kind of fight for their own ego within the family, maybe subtly trying to get an edge by, seeing the cracks in their parents' bond.
Instead of just accepting them as they were, flaws and all.
Right. Instead of just seeing them as, human, and that judgmental stance towards their dynamic, it sort of gets carried forward into adulthood.
Okay, hang on. How does that specifically play out later? What are the signs someone might, have this pattern going on in their adult life, according to these sources?
Well, they list a few things, like persistent tension with bosses or authority figures.
Okay.
Or getting stuck in power struggles a lot. Maybe difficulty building teams or leading effectively. Or even just feeling blocked in your career, but without a clear, external reason why. Things just don't seem to work out.
Wow. So it's not just, say, having a difficult mom or dad, but it's how you internally reacted to and maybe judged the relationship they had together.
Exactly. That's the distinction they're making. It's subtle, but they present it as quite profound.
Okay. But how does that specific dynamic, judging the parental couple, translate into, like you said, fighting with your boss? What's the connection?
The argument presented is if you learned early on to navigate the world by reacting against that primary power dynamic you saw.
The one between your parent.
Right. Then you might just unconsciously repeat that same pattern when you face other power dynamics later, like at work.
So you're kind of fighting ghosts, the ghost of that old judgment.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
The sources say this way of fighting for privilege, as they put it, established way back then, can pop up in work, personal relationships, even how you parent.
Okay, that sounds, well, pretty deep-rooted.
Yeah.
And maybe difficult to shift. But the sources mention some good news. Is there a solution offered?
Yes, there is. The core solution presented is about restoring respect, but specifically, deep, genuine respect for the emotional truth of your parents' relationship.
Their relationship as a couple.
As a couple, yeah. Accepting their reality, their history, the good and the bad, without that judgment.
And if someone manages that shift, what's supposed to happen then, according to Koban's work?
The material suggests that this is the root change, the key that unlocks the other stuff.
Like what?
Like gaining real emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Building relationships, both at work and personally, that are based on authentic feeling and respect. And ultimately, creating a path to more sustainable success in your career, business, life generally. The idea is that real respect starts right back there at the roots.
Right. So just to recap the main thread from Andrei Koban's Puzzle Business and Career work via Open Your Heart GmbH, it's that how we saw and maybe judged our parents as a couple in childhood can create these invisible patterns that hold us back in our careers and relationships later on.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, these blocks.
And the way forward proposed is getting back to respecting the reality, the emotional truth of that specific relationship. That's the key to unlocking emotional intelligence, better connections, and lasting success.
That sums up the core argument from these sources, yeah. It's about going back to that origin point to make a fundamental shift.
Definitely gives you something to think about as you reflect on this. Maybe consider if any of those invisible patterns or career blocks we talked about, if any of that resonates with you. And maybe ask yourself, could exploring the roots of your family relationships, specifically how you viewed your parents together, offer a totally different angle on challenges you might be facing today?